Finally, let me say something about, because a lot of people are writing in, and what about these debates, and what about challenges, and is there going to be debates, and is that a good idea or not? And one of the ways I'm going to describe this, my feeling about this, is imagine this situation. So you go to a village or a community or a town or even a country or a state or a city or whatever it is, a group of people. And for 50 to 100 years, they've all been told that you can break somebody's nose by hitting them in the nose with a feather. And if you don't believe this, and I just recently learned about this term called gaslighting. I haven't seen the movie, but I think I understand what it is. If you don't believe this, we will gaslight you. We will exclude you, ridicule you, humiliate you. You will not be able to get a job. You will not do well in our quote schools, and you will basically be kicked out into the wilderness. So you have to believe that. And that is essentially what we've been through with the entire virus claim for 70 to 100 years. Anybody who doesn't believe it, anybody who demands proof, anybody who even comes up with an experiment to show whether it's real is essentially gaslit. Now, I ask you, if you were a little boy or a little girl and you said, wait a minute, I don't think feathers break people's nose, and I have an experiment that I think we should do to show whether this is true or not. Or we could have a verbal debate, meaning we could get the people who believe that feathers break your nose, and we could get the people who don't believe it, and we could argue about it, and people with the feather theory could say, well, the feathers have little spikes on them, and surely that spike can break your nose if it hits it in the right way. And of course, some people are naturally immune to having their nose broken by feathers, so they of course won't get it. But if you've had a history of bad health, and maybe your nose is you pick your nose too much, then certainly you would be the one. And so this is very complicated. And anyways, we have other ways of diagnosing whether you have a broken nose. We could do a genetic analysis of the cartilage of your nose and find out whether it's broken. And they could go on and on and on and make your head spin. But the little boy says, or little girl says, no, I have a better way. Let's take 10 people and have a feather, and then take another 10 people. And the first 10 people, we will hit them in the way that we are told breaks your nose with the feather. We will agree on what the definition of a broken nose is, say by an X-ray, certain visual signs. We will then hit all 10 people with the feather. The other 10 people we won't hit with any feather at all. And then we will do an X-ray on all of them, and we will have conclusive evidence of whether feathers break your nose or not. Now, if I could take a hands up poll here, which I can't do, how many of you think that having a verbal debate is a better way to settle this? How many of you think that if we got 3 judges who were also gaslit and humiliated into believing the feather story for their entire 60, 70 years, and we said, okay, you be the judge of who argued this best verbally? Or how many of you think that the actual way, the best way, and I would submit the only way to settle this once and for all, is to do the experiment, hit the 10 people with the feathers, see if they get a broken nose, announce the results, everybody follows it, everybody's clear, no name calling, no animosity, nothing like that, simply just see what happens. And that's exactly what we're proposing here.